Hey, thank you so much for joining me today for this live. I've been super excited to do it. Not really, I didn't want to do it and Corey basically had to shove me into it, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that you guys are gonna hopefully learn some things today. It's not exactly my forte to, talk to 50 million cookie ears, but I'm looking forward to it. I am hoping that some of you will jump on and give me some great questions that I can answer for you. And also, if you watch the replay and you have a question, if you will tag in your comments, if you'll write replay and then your question, then I will know that I haven't answered them and I will come back and definitely answer those for you. And let's get to it. All right, so I have a Cookie of the Month club, and that's what I call it, Cookie of the Month. I actually started the club because my husband was like, you could sell cookies every month to these people. I have certain customers who are always like, do you have extras? I would love to have extras. Do you have extras? I don't care what they look like. I mean, I sold one lady a tropical second birthday set, and she has boys, and they're all teenagers, but they just want to eat cookies. So he suggested, why don't you do a Cookie of the Month club, because we could really use that guaranteed income. So for us, Cookies of the Month started as some way to turn my cookie business into guaranteed income. So my club, I only offer vanilla decorated sugar cookies to anybody. I do not offer flavor varieties. I don't offer drop cookies, nothing. I simply do vanilla flavored sugar cookies. Occasionally, like twice, I've offered chocolate chip cutout cookies for special holidays, but I don't. So my club is, my customers get 1 dozen custom sugar cookies every month, but I pick the theme. So I decorate them. They 9 times out of 10 have no idea what it's going to be before pickup. I do advertise that they will coincide with any holiday in that month. So for the June cookies, my customers got their cookies the last week of June, and they're 4th of July themed. So then they have a dozen cookies for their 4th of July party. At Christmas, obviously at Christmas, I did 12 days of Christmas, and they got 12 different designs. Not sure I would recommend that again. One thing I've learned doing a cookie club is, if you're going to do this sustainably long term, whether it's decorated cookies, macarons, drop cookies, whatever it is, you're going to be doing a large quantity every month. So you need to make sure that you're like streamlining what you're offering and the designs. And if you're offering 500 different things, it definitely gets crazy. So my first club launched in September, and I went all out and I bought Kaleido-Cut's little message board with the beads on the top, and they were adorable, and they took 5,000 hours, and I didn't think I was gonna finish so my club, because they are decorated cookies, right now I cap my club at 12 members, because whatever week those cookies go out, I have to make 12 dozen cookies that week. So if I'm lucky and I have a slower time earlier in the month, I may make couple dozen and freeze them, or a couple designs and freeze those designs and work through it. But most of the time I'm doing 12 dozen in 1 week, and sometimes if I'm poor at planning, I'm doing 12 dozen that week plus customs, and that can get a little crazy for me. I know some people put out more than that in a week, but I have 5 kids and a husband, and I clean houses and I do other things, so it definitely can get overwhelming for me. So my designs are usually quick and simple. Like in June, we did watermelons and popsicles and hot dogs and ketchup bottle and summer things. And like I said, holiday months, I'll have a holiday. So I offer my club at a discount. Oh, hi, Jessica and everybody. We need to give a shout out to Jessica because it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Jessica. So my club has a discount off of my customs. So whatever my customs are at, I have my club set at a slightly lower price as kind of an incentive to be in the club. The only thing with that is, at the beginning, I wasn't charging as much for my cookies. So I have some locked in clubs members who are basically getting a steal of a deal on their customs now, or their monthly box now, because it is less, it's considerably less than what I charge for customs now. Corey is on and she's yelling at me, and so is Heather. All caps is yelling, ladies. You have to play nice or I'll kick you out of my live. All right. So you really need to think long term. My club, I give them an option to either make a 6-month commitment or a year commitment, because the whole idea of it is, now you could totally restructure your club and do it like, hey, this is what I'm offering this month. If you want, you have to order by X date and then you'll get it. That was not what I wanted. I wanted to know every month I'm getting this money from these people. And I actually did not able to, when I first started, I wasn't able to do like a prepayment or an automatic pay. I have been researching and I can do that now through Square, and it's definitely something I'm going to consider with any new club members, because you'll get burned. Just like everything else, like, don't bake them until they've paid. So I send out an email on the 5th of the month, and that gives my clients the date of pickups, their invoice, and then they have to pay by the 15th of the month, or I don't bake their cookies. I've had a couple people that at the end they're like, hey, are my cookies ready? And I'm like, no, I didn't make your cookies. You never paid. My club is a dozen cookies decorated. So I only offer decorated sugar cookies. I only offer vanilla decorated sugar cookies. So Nicole, there's the answer to your question. I was trying to have a second video set up so I could see your questions sooner, but it's storming here in Southwest Virginia, and I'm just lucky I have internet at all. So, and I actually run Cookies Take the Cake in Missouri. I'm in a rural town in Missouri, Warrenton, Missouri. It's close to St. Louis, but about an hour away. But I am visiting my in-laws in Virginia. So, I capped mine at 12 customers. I have done 13, but like I said, for me doing decorated cookies, I can only do, that's 12 dozen in a week that I have to get done and out the door. And I only do pickups. In the state of Missouri, some things are changing with our laws, but up until now, we could not ship. Every delivery, everything has to be done in person. And I don't want to deliver. I don't have time. I'm in a rural area. I don't want to drive to 500 houses that none of them are close by each other. So I only do pickups. I usually set my pickups for like the Friday and Saturday of whatever week they can get their cookies. So it says, did it stop? I hope it didn't stop. I have not done drop cookies. I think, personally, I think that this could be, it'd be much more marketable on a large scale if you did offer drop cookies. I personally don't like to bake. I only like to decorate. Baking doesn't have any kind of creative outlet for me, so I'm like, nah, I don't want to offer that. I definitely feel like it's, like I said, it would be a much, because you can mass produce so many more drop cookies than you can a dozen sugar cookies. So if you wanted to go that route, it's definitely would be great. But definitely think about what you're going to charge. So I was going to see if I could pull up some pictures for you to see of cookies that I've done in the past. Half the time I've posted them in the group because I have asked opinions about the pictures for them. And if anybody wants to go look at my page, there's some posts that I've made about the cookie club. And when I design my 12 cookies, I do a set. I don't do, they get 12 popsicles or 12. Like I said, in June, I did a popsicle, a watermelon slice, a hot dog, Sometimes I do sneak peek what's in the next month's box when I'm working on them. And I'll be like, something fun is coming. But that's only if I'm capped out, if I need a new customer. When I have my 12, I'm not really pushing the club because I'm full. And I always, like I said, I try to set my theme to coincide with any holidays. So in Thanksgiving, they got a Christmas, Christmas theme. November was Thanksgiving theme. January, I just did a winter theme. February, they got Valentine's Day cookies. And their price is locked in for either 6 months or a year, whichever they choose to do. One thing I'd say is if you're going to do this, really, 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 and this is what got me, because I started this when I was pretty new to cooking, and so there were so many things that I hadn't learned about policies and stuff. But definitely make sure you have all of your policies written out, late pickups, whether you deliver, what day they have to pay by, all of those things, so that you don't get burned by somebody who drops out or somebody who just doesn't show up. I have one customer who I really love her and she always pays, but she's always late to pick up her cookies. And it's just like, these are the times. Pick up your cookies. Pick up your cookies. And then I really feel like you need to think about like what you want to do long term, because this is a long term commitment, not only for them but then for you. I've been really busy in June, and then I had to add those on, and then in July we went on vacation, and so it was just, but you're committed to those, so you need to make sure that you're looking ahead at your calendar when you decide to do this and saying, yes, I can make this happen on these times, or make sure that you're planning ahead so that you don't get caught up on being stuck without them. And I was going to see, so I don't know if anybody saw this. I posted in the group with a question, but if you can see, so like these were my June cookies. So they got these in June, and they got them the last week of June so that they would have them for July 4th. So, that's what I try and do. And those actually on my, I started saving them in my website as Cookie of the Month so that people could look at. And I do talk about the club. I posted in the event about Cookie of the Month clubs go out the door today. I always post that on my actual Facebook page so that people see that, and in my group, I have a Facebook page and a group, and I post that. And I actually went on and talked to my club members when I knew I was going to do this live, and was like, hey, what do you love? What do you, and they all said that they really enjoyed like the surprise of it, and they just really like eating the cookies. So that's a bonus for me. I did have one lady who complained about picking it up, but when she signed up, she knew I was pickup only, and she knew where I was located. So I didn't know really what to tell her. She said I live too far away, and I'm like, well, I can't move. But for the most part, it's usually really good feedback. In April, I did April showers, and so this is what they got. They got these and a couple other designs, but I took photos of those by themselves. So it also, too, like some people, talk about, I get burnt out on customs and I don't like, the repeat designs. I know at least once a month I get to just go crazy and do whatever I want. I do really try and think about streamlining designs, though. Nothing crazy. I talked about at the beginning of the live, if you missed it. The first month I went crazy and it was not good. I was literally doing cookies until people were picking them up. Like I was blowing on them, hoping they were dry. In March, I did. Now in March I did a little different because I offered two choices. I don't remember. They could either get like a St. Patrick's Day theme. If it'll focus. No, it's not going to focus. There we go. But I wanted to, the reason I'm showing you is because if you're a cookier, you can look and see that these are cute designs, but as you can see, they're also simple designs. So really you just have to think about that. Like I said, for drop cookies and all that, it would be much easier. And I know you can't ship, but if you could, would you include the shipping price? Yes, definitely. Do not eat shipping. Never eat shipping. Don't eat anything on these because, one, you're going to be eating it every month. And then the more people you add, the more you're eating. So really you're going to end up start not being worth it. Like it's going to be hurting you, not helping you. And that's one of the things like with mine when it first started out. So this is here's a picture of how I advertise to my clients when I am trying to refill spots. I put up these photos that have, so this was January, and then we have February, and then I showed them like what they get in Halloween and Christmas. So that's how I promo it to people. And when I first did it, the very first month, I literally just gathered some pictures I had of different sets I'd done and said, hey, who would want to be in this club? And I had like 7 people within an hour, which for me is crazy. There are some downfalls. There are some downfalls to this. And one of the downfalls that I have kind of noticed, one of my cons, because I do offer them around holidays, is I do feel like it does kind of detract from holiday pre-sales I do, because some of my most loyal customers already know they're getting holiday cookies for those months, so they don't have to buy from my pre-sale. Now I do have one lady who will usually buy a few extras because she has a lot of grandkids and she splits them up, but it does affect that. So you have to think about that and think, okay, what am I willing to do here? Because it's kind of a give and take. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but when I first started, I was at $32 a dozen for cookies, and I had my club priced at $27 a dozen, so $25 or $27 a month, and that's a lot of work for only $27 for each dozen. So like I said, make sure that you are pricing it with a long-term goal in mind. Like I do think it's important to make it a little bit cheaper to give them an incentive, and they are faster. Like I whip through them way faster than I do customs because I'm picking the designs. And so you really have to think about like what works for your business model and your thing. Can one member purchase more than 1 dozen per month? So if they wanted to, they definitely could. I would definitely offer them to be able to do 2 if they wanted. The one thing that I do offer my customers is like a perk, is 1 time per calendar year. Oh, thank you, Brandy. I actually do a lot of public speaking, but in a church setting. So I appreciate that. And I've done some narrating before. She said she loved my voice and my way of articulating. So, what I was going to say is, so one of the perks that I give my clients is 1 time per year, per calendar year, I let them forego their Cookie of the Month club for a custom set at that same price. So what I do is, so that one time I have rules, like they have to give me 3 weeks notice and change it out. But it's actually, people love it because then they know that they're already on my book to be, like they have a guarantee to get their set. So like I had one mom who knew her son's birthday was in April. So in April we did him a birthday set instead of her getting the Cookie of the Month club. Yes, it says, do you adjust the dates to coincide with holidays? Yes, I do. I said I send out an email on the 5th of the month, and that includes their pickup date and their invoice. And then I do coincide with every holiday, major holiday. And as far as not offering them in December, I don't know how that would go over. What I did was I baked mine in advance for December, and then I froze them. But I am not going to lie, this last December I was insane, and because I had a pop-up, and I had like 5 custom orders and my club, and a pre-sale, and it wasn't very smart. So I think if you're not going to offer them in December, you really are going to have to make sure people know that up front, or they're going to be upset, because a lot of people like the fact that they know, especially at Christmas, they're going to have guaranteed cookies. People really like that they're holiday themed and they can just be like, look, I already have something good to go for my party. So my current price point is $48 a dozen for customs, and my club is priced at $35. And the reason I feel like I can do the big price difference is, like I said, I'm so much faster with club cookies. I knock them out way faster because I've gotten to learn how to do my designs, that they're still cute, but they also are fast. A custom dozen, if it's more intricate, it takes a lot longer and it eats into your time. Now, I am not the person who has different price points for, like different tier points for my customs, because I like creative freedom. And if I think it needs gold metallics, I want to put gold metallics on it. And that's just how I do it. I see the value of the tiers, but I want to enjoy cookies. So it's just not something I do. Checking all your comments here. Do you limit the number of clients who can trade out their month? So they're all allowed to do it, but they're all only allowed to do it one time per the year. So far, I have not had any that fell on the same year or the same month. So it's always worked out for me. The one thing that is a little bit of a benefit with that is, so far, if somebody wants to trade it out, and their date is different than the actual cookie pickup date, I'm flexible and I let them pick it up on a different date, because it actually makes me less busy that week, and so of the other pickups. So I'm totally okay with that, because it helps me out in the long run. So that's something I do. I did the first Friday of every month, and sometimes that's really hard depending on the schedule. Yeah, so I look at the calendar in advance and look and say, okay, this is going to be my best week for pickups, and still be close enough to the holiday. And so then I set that, and then supposedly, as I'm looking at my calendar for customs, I keep that in mind. But sometimes I don't do a very good job at that. I'm really bad about saying, oh, sure, I can make it happen. Oh, sure, I can make it happen. And then I'm like home at 2 a.m. saying, I can't make it happen. But it does usually happen, thankfully. I have a subscription box and never do holiday themes, so they still have to buy pre-orders. And that's the thing, like, it's all about how you want to structure your model. That was my big push in my promo when I set my club up, is that you were always guaranteed holiday cookies. And so for me, that was my selling point. But if you don't want that to be your selling point, that's the thing. Like, you can totally take these ideas and make sure you're looking at your life, your schedule, what would work for your business goals, and then tailoring it to that. Do they pay for the entire year 6 months at a time? I've had a couple people who did that. I would prefer that they don't do that, because I like knowing every month, well, I at least have these X, Y, and Z's money coming in. I make mine pay by the 15th of the month, or they don't get their cookies. And like I said earlier, I've been looking into setting up an automatic payment option through Square, so that it automatically comes out. I have one lady who, rain or shine, on the 4th of the month, she sends her money. And that's clearly the day she does her bills. She's my favorite customer, because I know she's going to pay on the 4th no matter what. But then if they haven't paid me by the 15th, I send them one email and say, hey, are you still interested? And if they get back to me, they're like, oh yeah, sorry, and they pay. And if they don't, then they don't get cookies that month. I just take them off my list. Do they pay? Yeah, so I answered that. Yeah, so I have mine not pay. Like I said, I had probably, when I first started out, I had like 3 who paid the whole year out. And then I had the majority don't pay the whole year out. I actually had one lady, a really sweet lady who loves my business, who bought a year's worth of subscriptions, and then she has me donate hers every month to whoever I choose. And so that's been cool, because I've been able to like give them to people I know who maybe had a death in their family or whatever, and I just take them to certain people, and she just sponsored them basically. So there's that. Magazines often combine July, August, and November, December issues. Might be something a cookies subscription could offer. Offer in July. I mean, like I said, it's all whatever you wanted to do. How you want it's. If you want to combine, that's fine. The only thing with things like that is like cookies. People think they're not fresh if you like. They literally think in their head we made them yesterday, even if we didn't. I had a lady who was gonna pick up on. She had an order for Saturday, and I was like, "Hey, can you grab them on Thursday? I'm going out of town." And she was like, "Will they still be fresh?" And I'm like, yes, they'll be fresh. They'll be fine. So that would be the only thing with like trying to double up months. I don't know. And if you're not doing holiday themes, it might work. Okay, what is your packaging like for it? So it's evolved off and on, but my favorite is either to get, I'm trying to see, I posted pictures of these before on my page. So I'm scrolling through my page to show you. But of course my page has 5,000 pictures because that's all cookies are about, is pictures. But I liked to either use a brown bag that has, let's see here, go all the way back. A brown bag with a bow attached to it. I'm a huge bow person. I don't have a Bodabra, I just make them myself. I know I'm slacking there. But so these, okay. So these are my, let me show you. I have, these were my very first month, my September ones. So in September, I'll be doing this a year. And so these were the very first month I did it. These are what their bags look like. And I posted a picture of them the other day in the event, so you should be able to see that still in there too. But I usually use like a craft bag with a bow, and then it'll either say thanks on the front or something like that. I also really like the boats from BRP. And so some months I'll put them in boats, but I still tie a bow on them. I always have, you know, the required sticker address and all that. And then I have little circles that say cookies take the cake that I always stick on the front of my bags or my bows. So these are from October. So these were a pre-sale, but those may not focus. These bags, so that's what I do. And I wrote thanks boo on all of them. I was feeling a little feisty that day. So yeah, so like always a bow, and always the fun thing. And I do try and post, like I said earlier, I do try and post to my page. Cookie of the Month cookies are going out this week, and it does two things for me. It reminds my people that are supposed to be picking up, hey, come get your cookies. And then it also advertises other people. I had a lady pick up an order the other day, custom, and she's like, I've been thinking about your club. I'm really interested in it. So these are what I did last September, my bags. And then I just got a craft stamp from Walmart, and I just stamped thanks on the front of them. So, do you have an example of your club packaging? I just showed it. Okay, I got that. So, I have run into a couple times like where the payment date would be after the pickup date. And so with those, I've literally just put in my email, hey, because of the way it falls this month, payment is due by the 6th or whatever. And if it's not paid, then I remind them, and then I don't do it. So like for 4th of July, that would have been a crazy turnaround to have 4th of July cookies July 4th, because that just wouldn't have worked. So the June design was for 4th of July, if that makes sense. So I did it for the month ahead, but it was close enough that in your head you're like, yeah, this is the theme, and it works. So then for June, I just did a summer, or for June, I did that. So in July, I'm either going to do a Christmas in July theme, or I'm going to do just ice cream themed because it's something I want to do. I've been wanting to try. Excuse me. So I did have a wait list. I kind of haven't been pushing it really hard lately because my customs have been really busy and really taking off. So I wasn't pushing the club as hard because I was like, I can't keep up. But I have had a wait list in the past. And then when a spot came up, I would just message them and say, hey, are you still interested? And I put them in the club. If they are off your list, is it like a pause or do you fill a spot from the wait list? So it depends on the client. I had one client who messaged me, super sweet lady, and was like, hey, I'm going to have to take this month off. I'm having a bunch of tests done and I don't know what's going to happen. And so I just paused it for her and I was fine with that. And then she came back later and she'd been diagnosed with something pretty serious and she needed to cancel. And I was okay with that. Like, I'm not going to be like, wow, you still have to pay me, you know. But then I've had a couple other people who have been a little less than nice about it. And I just say, you're out. So, you know, just like anything else, when you have a problem client, like if you know that it's not going to be fixable, I do my best to have above board customer service. Like I want to be known as the nicest cookie lady possible to work with. But there's some that, I mean, if I send you 4 emails and you don't see them and then I send you a text, I'm going to take it that you're done. And so then I just take them out. That's happened once. So do you find that customers abuse the club? They commit up front and then fizzle out a month or 2 in. The frustration would be if you've turned people away who want to participate but can't because you've reached your limit. Have you had this experience? Yes, I've had this experience. And that's why I was saying, like, up front, you need to be really straightforward about your policies. That's why if you can get an auto pay set up, I would definitely do that. And get them on an auto pay because yes, that has happened to me. And when I first started out, I was totally clueless. Like I wasn't taking payment up front, not for the club, but for like customs. And we all know, we've all done that one time. Then you realize, okay, you have to get deposits up front or you're going to get burned. So yeah, I've learned to work on that. And so I definitely kind of try and this is going to sound a little weird, but because of my husband's job, some of my customers are also members of our church. My husband is a pastor. So sometimes customer relations and like splitting between the pastor's wife and the business owner can be a little extra tricky for me. And so I've had to kind of have some workarounds with some people, but I'm really getting better about just being hard and fast. Like, nope, sorry, this is the way I run my business. You have to do it, or you're out. If you want to do 6 cookies versus a dozen, definitely. I think that would work. I think, you know, like somebody had said before that they I was talking to somebody about it, and I'm not even sure if it was in Sugar Cookie Marketing group or another group, but she was asking me about, you know, adding drop cookies and stuff. And I told her, I personally, if I were her, I would almost, if you're doing it with like drop cookies, or even with these, if you want to offer 2 price points, so 2 tiers of you can be in the club for this much a month and get a dozen, or you can be in the club for this much and get 6. You could totally do that. All that's more work. So it's all about what are you wanting to do? And like I said, it's not a one-time thing. It ends up being every month. So whatever you agree to once, then I'm agreeing to for the future. And so that's one thing that I really try and keep in mind and really want other people to keep in mind if you do this is not only are they committing to long-term, but you are. So really think about the workload that you're willing to take on. Because somebody I was talking to was like, well, I want to add this and this and that and that and that. I'm like, okay, but that means every month you have to make all of those things. So you have to think about that. I do not change flavors. My cookie business literally is a vanilla sugar cookie with royal icing. That's all you get. I do offer gluten-free, gluten-sensitive on occasion, because my son and I are both have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and so I'm familiar with it, and so I have like certain friends and people who are in that community who order from me, but there again, it's like very much a disclaimer thing, and I don't offer that in my club. Do you ever use make extras for a flash sale? So yes, for 4th of July, I made some extras, and I flash sale them. And then also, like if I end up doing, I took a poll earlier in the month and asked my customers if they would rather have a Harry Potter flash sale for Harry Potter's birthday or Christmas in July flash sale. And it was split 50-50. So I did a Harry Potter flash sale, which if you're comfortable doing inspired sets or whatever, I would jump on that because it did really well. But I'm thinking if I do my club for July, it's Christmas in July, then I'm going to flash sale some extras. Because I've also had some interest in that just from like a custom order. So that's definitely something I'm going to do. If I did drop cookies, I like the idea of doing 6 decorated and 6 drop cookies. But like I said, I don't want to do drop cookies. I literally have zero desire to ever do drop cookies. I've done macarons here and there. But when I do those, I do French macarons and I literally bake them and then flash sale them because they give me anxiety and I turn into an old woman. Yeah, so I just strictly do vanilla sugar cookies. Delicious vanilla sugar cookies. All right. My page is called Cookies Take the Cake because cookies are better than cake. Sorry, all you cake bakers out there. But yeah, Cookies Take the Cake. And I am located in, what is a boat? You mean like the packaging boat? I will show you a picture of those. They are from BRP Box. It's the baskets. I called it a boat, but they call it a basket. And my 2 cents on packaging. I like the baskets from BRP because it does give my customers, when I use those, my customers have this instant wow factor because they immediately see their cookies. I gave my business name. Yeah. What else? That's so true. My box was intended to be a big variety box, but without a certain number of subs each month, you really can't work at scale and it's super cumbersome. Yeah. So if, especially with sugar cookies, they're not really designed to be mass produced. So when you are doing that, it gets a little crazy. I will say that sometimes, back in October, I was totally on my game, but that was before I was a lot busier with customs, and I made my club cookies in advance, and then I actually used those, pulled parts of those to put together my pre-sales, and used those to take the pictures for my pre-sales, and so it was kind of a double whammy for me, and it worked well. But now I'm really not, I don't have extra time for that kind of a thing. Are they committed to paying you each month by a contract or just honor system? So when I started, it was kind of honor system, and that's where it really kind of burned me and got tricky. That's why I'm looking to switch over to an automatic payment. And I've been researching Square's option for an automated payment. And the one thing that even they say is like, make sure that you have a signature saying that you can do this. And so that's definitely one thing that I'm trying to work on, is being more like hard and fast to my policies so that I don't get burned. How do you send out your emails? Is there a certain website you use? I'm horrible at this, and I literally type in every person's email. I know that there are systems. I know a lot of people like MailChimp. There was even a live on it that I haven't had the time to watch, and it's definitely something I want to get better at. But like I said, I only have 12 members at a time, so it doesn't really kill me. I just type in all their emails or copy and paste them from a file on my phone. But there are better options than that. I'm already an old woman, so stressing anymore would turn me into dust. I've headed that way. All right. Let's see. Thanks, guys, for following my Instagram. You didn't have to do that. So does anybody have any other questions? I pretty much think I've hit everything I wanted to cover. I'm a note taker. And if you missed it earlier, it's Jessica Worth's birthday. So we said happy birthday to her. Quick, simple designs. I definitely would make sure that if you're going to do pickups like I do, just like with other pickups, you need to have that in there about like, this is your time slot, get them now, or you forfeit your cookies. I would definitely do that. Like I said, if you watch this on replay, make sure that you comment replay with your comment so I can go back and answer your question. You guys can also message me if you have any more questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. How do you choose a theme every month? So if it is a holiday month, I go with that theme. If not, I just do whatever I want, whatever I feel like, that I think would be fun. So thank you guys. How do you juggle your life with the subscription box, customs, family, etc.? If I'm allowed to ask. I don't. I don't think any of us really juggle it the way we should. So my husband is a pastor, which, if any of you know what that means, it basically means that I work at the church too, just not for a paycheck. I have that. I clean houses. I have 5 children and my cookie business. So the best way that I juggle it, honestly, is a lot of late nights. But also and some people will probably scream at this, but I run everything by my husband. I'm like, I just am like, all right, this is what our week is starting to look like. Do you think I can do this? Do you think I can take this on? And he'll be like, yeah, this is a week I can make sure the boys get to hockey or whatever. And then I just really try and be better about telling people no when I can't fit. So you really have to think about the week that you're going to do customs. That you're going to do your club, you have to limit your customs. And the price is less than a regular dozen, because I am selling a custom dozen when I sell a custom dozen. But when I do my subscription, it's not really custom. Other people are getting them. I lock in my customers at 6 months or a year. So either way. So thank you guys very much. Yeah, my husband, we have 5 kids. We have to be partners or it's going to be real bad. So, all right. All right, guys. I think that I've answered everybody's questions. So if you have any more questions, you can definitely add them. Just make sure that you say replay so that I make sure I answer them. Thanks for watching, and good luck if you just start to do this. If you can even message me if you want to. I don't understand your comment, Andrea. I think it was a typo. But like I said, do I have a private group for the subscribers? No. I've been toying with the idea of doing that. I have a private VIP group. But it's not just for Cookie Club members. But I have been thinking about doing that because it is a good way to send them info and stuff. I've thought about even just doing a private message. So thank you guys very much.